Hello and welcome back to another comparison episode on the KenOhWee channel, and it's been a while since we had one of these, and of course today's character in focus is none other than Carnage, and we have two iterations of this character from two different figure companies. On my right we have a company that could stand toe to toe with figure arts if not plagued by its problematic QC controls. Mafex Carnage from Medicom Toys. And on my left we have an action figure line which has slowly cemented itself as having one of the most dynamic ranged action figures. Amazing Yamaguchi Carnage. Of course, one may ask, why are you not including Marvel Legends Carnage into the mix? And let me get this out of the way. Number 1, I don't have that figure. Number 2, if your main focus is budget, then Marvel Legends wins hands down. There's just no way these two figures can beat Marvel Legends figure in price.
I need that money.
However, if you're looking for something a little bit more in terms of accessories or articulation, then these two are the cream of the crop. So what if you got the funds and you only had to choose one? Which one would it be? If you have that question running in your head, then this video is for you. So without further ado, sit back, relax, get your Uber Eats dinner ready, and let's find out which of these two figures come out on top. Figure design. Hoping to do something different, I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly for each figure and compare between the two. So if you're looking for a clean, classic Carnage look, then look no further than Mafex. And make no mistake, this black symbiote slime design on him isn't just painted on him. The lines are sculpted as well, and it's an asymmetrical design throughout, so each side is not the same, even though it may look like it is, but rest assured it's not, which is great. On the Yamaguchi side, you have the complete opposite of the Mafex figure. I mean, if you're thinking the sculpting on Mafex is good, then Yamaguchi is a masterpiece. Every striation on his body is sculpted. It is like rubbing your fingers on every muscle fiber on his body. There's also some symbiotic sculpting as if it's coming out of this body, and to me it plays well with the concept that there is a living symbiotic slimy thing covering a person, so it's definitely not going to be clean. However, to some people, that may be a detriment to this figure, as coupled with the non-typical joint cut design of the Yamaguchi figures, this figure may look quite messy and out of control to some. Mafex also has a more slender build compared to the Yamaguchi's comic book superhero build with that V taper, and when it comes to the face, following my point earlier, for the Mafex, with that clean look coupled with that smile, it oozes creepiness, while on the Yamaguchi figure, it just shouts, "I'm crazy." So they both play well with the character, and you'd have to decide which look you'd want to go with, creepy or crazy. Either way, they are both Cletus Cassidy's traits. So even though they both look good in their own ways, let's start talking about the bad, and we move to the Yamaguchi figure. If there's one thing about this figure line, is that their figures have difficulty doing one of the most basic thing of any action figure, standing straight naturally. Like really, with all the Revoltech joint and the way their joints are cut, it's just hard to make him pose naturally. But when it comes to dynamic poses, this figure does it in strides. And I can see how these joint cuts may be off-putting to some collectors as well. I mean, that just looks like he's wearing a boot. And his arms look disconnected from his body all the time. And his head, no matter what I do, I just can't get his head to be straight. So he's constantly on this angle, which is fine to me because this character is crazy, but if it were any other character, I'd be going crazy myself. And we go to the ugly. This mouth cannot be closed. I mean, look at that. That's the look I have when I see a Korean buffet going at half price. Yes sir, give me all that bulgogi. And if you think there's nothing ugly to talk about the Mafex figure, you'd be wrong, because let's talk about the QC issue of this figure line. There's always a risk when it comes to Mafex figure, as you may have a joint or two being loose, and unfortunately, this figure's left arm has a manufacturing issue where it's so loose that it pops out, and apparently I'm not the only one having a figure with this problem. And it's not just the arms, this head to neck connection comes out of this head relatively easy. So now it's a two-step process to interchange head, because you have to remove this piece as well. I'm inclined to just super glue it back into the head. And apparently there's an issue where the legs pop off as well. It hasn't happened happened to my figure yet, but I've seen it happening to other collectors' figures. So basically, this figure is plagued with QC issues, but the Yamaguchi figure so far is really solid. So to sum it all up, if we're talking about overall figure appearance, then I would give it to Mafex due to the clean and slick aesthetics. But don't get me wrong, personally, I really like the look of the Yamaguchi figure, but it's just not as clean as the Mafex figure. But if you're talking about figure quality, then Yamaguchi edges out on Mafex in that category. Articulation. As always, we come to my favorite portion of these episodes where we showcase these figures' articulation without talking about them all over again. So I present to you the Cheerleaders Challenge. Let's go! Look up to the stars. The self-hug. The back scratcher. The groin tear. The crotch killer. The tango. The jumping spider. The dead spider, the Iron Man pose, the creepy crawler, the limbo, the butt check, the meditation, and this, whatever this pose is. Accessories. Both these packages come with a ton of accessories, so let's start with the heads first. Mafex comes with 2 additional interchangeable head, one unmasked Cletus Cassidy's head, and another where the mouth is open. And there's a lot of debate on how accurate this is to the comics, but I personally prefer some depth like the mouth on the Yamaguchi figure, but to each their own. Mafex accessories also comes with 5 additional pairs of interchangeable hands, including the now standard magnetic hands for any Spider-Man related characters, also a pair of magnetic feet, a pair of symbiote's webbing effect, 1 symbiote string effect, and 3 pairs of hand weapon accessories where it's the same on each side, and 1 pair of hand weapons where the right is the scythe and the left is the tiny hammer. For the Yamaguchi package, it comes with interchangeable eyes instead of heads, so 2 additional pairs of eyes, and you can interchange them according to your needs, but it does take some time to do so as you need to push these eyes out from the head to equip them. And it only comes with the 2 additional pairs of hands. However, in terms of other accessories, in which I'm calling them tentacles, he has a pair of bladed tentacles, a pair of axe-like tentacles, a pair of saw-like tentacles, a pair of sharp tentacles, 4 long tentacles with pointy ends, 4 medium-length tentacles, and 4 short tentacles. There's also a pair of extensions and a pair of these connections. And you might be wondering what the hell are all these for? Well, basically, it's like Lego. All of these accessories either has a hole or the ends have a Revoltech joint. So if you can peg them, you can connect them. And this is where this package shines, as the sky's the limit to how far you can accessorize this Carnage. Not to mention, these accessories can be packed into the figure itself. That's what the holes in the figure are for. Still wish they would cover them a bit, but it's a compromise I'm willing to take. However, I do find it tedious at times to accessorize this figure, as you need to remove pegs here and there, and some are really wedged in there. They give you this wrench like thingy to help with the peg removals, but it's not even strong enough, so you would end up having to use your hands, which may hurt for some people. So I'd say these 2 packages are pretty equal in their accessory count. The Mafex definitely edges out if you're taking into consideration the unmasked head and the easier accessory system, but on the other hand, you have the limitless possibility of accessory building on the Yamaguchi figure. But if you're someone who does not have the patience to do something like this, then it'll be better to go with the Mafex figure. But if you're willing to invest the time and effort, then the payoff for the Yamaguchi's Carnage fully equipped look is truly worth it. Scale. And here is the amazing Yamaguchi and Mafex Carnage standing next to other figures for scale comparison. Conclusion. So, in summary, both these figures have their own pros and cons. You have a clean and sleek looking action figure with an easier accessory system with the Mafex, but it comes with a big warning sign about the possibility of having loose joints. Or on the other hand, you have a wild looking action figure with a lot of playability with the interchangeable accessories, but it is a little more tedious to play around with those accessories, and there are some compromises on the design with the weird cuts and the holes. So ultimately it comes down to your own personal preference on which of these two figures you'd want to have on your shelf. But for me personally, I like the feel and the look of the Yamaguchi Carnage, which is why it was in my top 10 action figures of 2019, and it's still going strong today. However, any comments made are just based on my humble opinion, and I would love to hear your thoughts as well. Which of these two figures would you crown as the better Carnage action figure? Or would the Marvel Legends figure knock these two out of the park? Share it with me in the comment section down below. And with that all said, that concludes today's episode. Thank you very much for watching till this portion of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please hit that like button to show your support or just for the fun of it. And as always, thank you all very much for your support. I appreciate all of you watching the videos and I can't thank you enough. In the meantime, take care and have a wonderful week. To watch more, click here. Click here for video 1. Click here for video 2. Click here to subscribe. Click it. Thank you for watching. Arigato. Thank you.